Good evening, assalamu alaikum. I'm Tariq Ziad here with Saeed Ahmed. Tuesday night, you classified here on the heart of the city. That's 93.5 Unity FM on the 8th of May 2010.
Well, actually, Tariq, I got to say, Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all our listeners. You're listening to another edition of You Classified on the 8th of June 2010, Tuesday evening, and what a miserable evening it is. It's raining, and it's very mild though, Tariq. It's very mild. Fantastic show coming up today, Tariq. We are going to be joined by Dawood Musa Pidcock, our resident guest of the show. Also, we will hopefully have Sir Gerald Kaufman very, very shortly. We're going to be discussing the issue of Israel and the current state that's in at the moment. We also will touch on the economy and this new bill that's been passed last night, if you may have heard the news, at the European Union. But coming up, all that, and we'll also be going live to the, well, not exactly the Flotilla convoy, but someone who has been off the convoy recently. We'll be talking to them hopefully after 10 o'clock if technology allows us. In the meantime, Brother Tice will give you some news article, and Dawood Musa Pidcock is waiting in the wings to come in and give us the week update and what's been going on around the world, and we will be discussing many issues with him. You can do the same. Phone lines are open as of now, actually, until 11 o'clock. 0121 772 8892. You can text us 07926 843388. That's 07926 843388. Or you can email us on the usual uclassified address. uclassified@hotmail.co.uk. That's the letter U, classified at hotmail.co.uk. That's all one word, and it's all lowercase. Brother Tariq, we have had a very interesting week, haven't we?
Yeah, just a little announcement. From next week, You Classified Radio Show will be going from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. There's going to be a change in time. That's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
That's from the 15th of June, of course.
So on the 15th of June, and we shall remain that until Ramadan in that time slot.
And those of you who are a fan of Dr. Abdul Majid Khatami, Dr. as you heard just before the end of the show, he will be on from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. as of the 15th of June. From 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. will be alternative radio. So those of you who are used to listening to alternative radio from 7 to 8 p.m., now it will be from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. You Classified 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Dr. Abdul Majid Khatami 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. 0121 772 8892. Anything you hear on the show, anything you want to talk to us about, do call in, do text. And Brother Tariq, I believe you have some news article, and Brother Dawood is also on the line joining us.
Let's welcome Brother Dawood. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
It's great to have you back.
Thank you.
Well, the first news article is actually something you sent me in an email this week, and it was actually about the Arkeli Loro in October 1985, a ship that was hijacked by the PLO.
Yes, it was, and there was a tragic incident of somebody being a gentleman, Israeli, who was pushed overboard or ended in the sea, and it was, of course, it was newsworthy for many months, and still is, in various areas. But it was one of those cases that, of course, overrides all others. And what happened, of course, this week with the Turkish vessel, or these several vessels that were sort of taken over, similar to the Archirodon, and of course it was a massive loss of life, and which of course has now, I think, sealed the fate of Israeli-Turkish relationships, which had been, of course, very strong since the first Zionist state was created in Turkey in 1908. So this is a major upset, and I think augurs well for the situation in the Middle East.
Yes, certainly. Israel they've shown their true colours yet again. Only 2 years on from the siege of Gaza only a year on from the siege of Gaza in 2009. Of course, 1,500 people, innocent women and children mainly, lost their lives in a terrible military operation called Operation Cast Lead. And of course now they're threatening to attack any flotilla or vessel that comes near them. They've sent home the Rachel Corrie. They've deported them. There's more boats coming as well. And things just appear to be spiraling out of control, really, with Israel and its diplomatic relations with other countries.
Well, yes, this is actually showing the world the real nature of the current controllers of the Holy Land. And everything that they're doing is completely alien to what Orthodox Judaism should stand for, which, of course, is based on the same religion as Islam, is on peace. But we shouldn't be surprised because the nature of those governing the country are secular in nature, in the sense that that they don't have even common natural senses of right and wrong. They only see one side of any argument, and many Orthodox religious and principled Jews have also been killed and marginalized by this same group. So, but it's astonishing that they seem to think that they can get away with murder, until the day of judgment, but without actually being called to account. But I think this has changed, and we will see those major changes that Rasulullah mentioned in the hadith about Israel and its ultimate destruction.
Yes, indeed. And on this subject, and slightly veering away as well, is Zionism, of course, was always seen as the idea of a land without a people without a land. This very noble idea of the Jewish people returning to their homeland, being oppressed in Europe after the diaspora. And of course, it's indoctrinated into the minds of young Israelis, the horrors that were suffered in the Holocaust. Of course, a terrible incident happens, the loss of life of 6 million Jews, many of whom, I think it's fair to say, were actually pro-Palestinian in a sense. They weren't really Zionists. They were against Zionism. They were against taking somebody's land. They were against claiming it. People like Rabbi Weiss, very outspoken people protesting and, mentioning the true facts, in the sense that, it's not actually written anywhere in Judaism that there's a necessity to occupy the land of Israel or to return to it through force.
Well, they are not allowed to enter Israel or the Holy Land until the righteous Moshiach, the Messiah, takes them back, and they were ordered. This is the third. They were expelled twice from Israel, Palestine, before, for the self-same reasons that we're seeing now. And Habakkuk and other prophecies say that the next time that Israel will be destroyed root and branch, there will be no survivors. But there is I was given an anti-Zionist passport by the Neturei Carter and Rabbi Goldstein in London, and it's interesting when you read what it states in this passport, that Zionism is an infidel sect consisting of men and women without knowledge or the desire to acquire knowledge or understanding of the true faith. That is why they fled from the fate of their brethren in exile, confining themselves to the aims of a base animal life, avoiding every quest for a true purpose for the world, and when they failed in achieving their main objective, that of world government in Jerusalem, through the integration amongst the inferior peoples of the world under the UN Charter, they tried to change the character of the entire Jewish nation. And in order to disguise the alien and empty nature of their aim, and in so doing gain prestige amongst our people, they picked the hallowed name of Zion. Now, this is inscribed in this passport that is given to people, and it says that we are Jews, but not Zionists. So that sets out things pretty clearly as to where they stand in the eyes of Orthodox Torah-conscious Jews, who, of course, reject the secular, murderous nature of Zionism and its terrorist origin.
Also, you've wrote in your book, Satanic Verses.
Voices.
Satanic Voices.
The wrong guy, it was Salman Rushdie.
Yes, I do always make those Freudian slips there. Extensively about the Russian origins of Ashkenazi Jews, as they're known, basically, the main kind of population of Israel today. I mean, Judaism itself, I believe, for us, the one word is a kind of a tribal religion. You have to be born into it. A person can't convert to Judaism, as far as I know. But there is an incident in history, which you mentioned in your book, where a particular part of Russia, Kazari, I believe the name is, where the people en masse have actually embraced Judaism as a result of seeking protection, if you like, from an oncoming group of Muslims on one side and Christians on the other.
Yeah. Well, this was, of course, a long time ago. But what people are also missing is the point that in 1928, the state of Russia, the Russian Bolshevik state, ceded, I think, 14,000 square kilometers of Russia, and it's called Birobidzhan. And this is the first Zionist or first Jewish settlement state within a state, and that was created in 1928. Now, why is it that the Jews, those who wanted a separate state, didn't go there? The ones who basically migrated, but into this state that was created and still exists. It had a very sophisticated rail network. It's on the Trans-Siberian Railway, and that is the first Zionist or the first Jewish state created in 1928.
Of course, Theodor Herzl was the man who began the campaign for Zionism as we know it today. This itself was a very interesting thing because, of course, firstly he went to the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, was quite blankly refused, and the words were more or less, it'd be over my blood. He would take the land of Palestine. The Kaiser also refused him. He eventually went to the UK and obviously found favour with the likes of Lord Balfour. Of course, he wrote and drafted the Balfour Declaration, and also funding from the Rothschild family as well to start the very first aliyahs, as they were referring, the first movements to Palestine, creating settlements.
Well, the Herzl's diaries are very. It's also included in my book, the Red Book, Satanic Voices, Ancient and Modern. That Herzl on the Orient Express talks about Nebelinsky saying he has informed the Sultan that an alliance with the Zionists would bring about the conditions, and we will offer him 20 million for Palestine, and that was the deal. Now, but you have to go back a bit before then to see what was actually going on. The Masonic movement in Salonika was where the Masonic Zionist atheist groups were actually planning the coup d'etat against the Ottoman Caliph, and that took place according to, if you see the book, if you have my Red Book there, it's carved Turkey. And this is the British Embassy. I've seen the archives. I've been to Constantinople, or Istanbul as it is now. And you'll find there the references to letters from the British Embassy warning that there is a coup d'etat that took place on July the 8th, 1908. And it was Masonic, and this was this is the thing that groups like HT and others, talking about 1924, they are years behind. It was actually, the takeover took place in July 1908, exactly in line with the hadith of Rasulullah, and this is what we should follow. Always follow what the Prophet says, and you'll find it always is accurate. It's just that the Muslims, unfortunately, tend to do anything other than read what the Prophet said.
Of course, you mentioned now that you see a lot of things coming into fruition, coming into light as a result of these actions from the Israelis just this week gone with the Flotilla, the tragic loss of the lives of 20 people, and of course now severed relations with Turkey. I mean, it's almost as if Turkey had been lured into a possible war, really. What do you see as being the immediate ramifications of this? Well,
it's something that if we're waiting and we're aware that Al-Mahdi should be coming. These events, the crash of the economic system, again, this is one of the many that have happened, but this is a very serious collapse of the economic system. And the events that are now taking place, that are happening in the Middle East, particularly in the Holy Land, then these are clearly significant. These are not, sort of insignificant happenings. These are very serious. So we were expecting Al-Mahdi last year in the year according to the hadith that refers to Al-Mahdi at the doorstep. But I would think things must be fairly imminent because the state of Israel is going to be under siege from many sides now. But the major warning for the rest of the world is that Israel has a colossal arsenal of nuclear weapons. And as they said at a conference that I attended, well, if we can't have it, we'll press the button and it will be Armageddon. So the fact that Israel has this vast arsenal of nuclear weapons makes it extremely dangerous. And if it's under threat, then it would take out most of the European cities and would take everybody with them. So that is the other side of the coin, why Israel is very much in charge of the world, United Nations, United States, and most other bodies.
Do you really see, the possibility of a nuclear war happening in the near future?
Well,
I know it's all up in the
Muslims
air.
should expect war from Allah because they are the greatest abusers of the Sharia. They are absolutely, every Muslim country is in a mess because it's involved in riba, sood, etc. As a result of which you must expect war from Allah because all the Muslim countries are actually basically encouraging war from Allah. But nuclear war will eventually create Armageddon. It will be created in Megiddo, which is in Palestine. That's where Yom al-Qiyamah and Yom al-Khulud it will begin there. So the fact that you have the Dimona site and all, and I've just, I don't know if I sent it to you, the released documents from Kissinger to Nixon this week that I received about Israel's nuclear capability and how America would deal with that.
Yes, I did get that. Yes.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Right. Well, so Israel's had that, but it lies. They're the masters of lying. They can lie until basically you start to believe, and that's the nature of the beast. It is the Dajjal system is based on lies, and Rasulullah said the difficulty when that occurs is that it will be difficult to distinguish truth from falsehood.
If I'm correct, that article actually mentions that they've actually got a few stolen nuclear weapons, haven't they?
No, they've got at least 200 nuclear missiles, or certainly warheads. They had, we're talking 1967, they had 12 missiles capable of carrying warheads, and warheads that were already in existence.
It's a very interesting thing, actually, because I read this as well, is at the height of the apartheid regime in South Africa, they're actually planning to do some deals with Israel over their nuclear arms as well.
What, the South Africans?
Yes.
Yeah, well, Gerald Bull had already was using those large howitzers to actually send shells outside the Earth's sort of magnetic field, and were able to launch missiles that would go out of the atmosphere and return carrying nuclear warheads. And Saad Jabba al-Tamimi, who lives currently in Ajman, designed the supergun for Saddam to actually put satellites into orbit using that supergun. So there should be no misunderstanding. Israel is a nuclear state, and it dominates all others through one system, either of intimidation or through its control of the monetary systems globally.
If I may come in here, Brother Dawood, it was last week or week before, there's been a report that Israel actually sent out submarines into the Iranian region, having the nukes pointed at Iran. How likely do you think Israel is going to go into Iran and start something there? I mean, do you think that's highly likely?
Israel does have, I think it has 3 or 5, certainly 3 German diesel submarines, and make sure that it also controls the other countries in the world, including the United States. So if it doesn't have them itself, it has the ability to manipulate things to suit its own objectives. So the other thing was that this issue with North Korea and South Korea, there was some information from the intelligence group that was saying that it was Israel that had actually sunk the South Korean ship. Now that would be typical of their policies and their agenda.
Yes,
they're masters of this.
Yes, I mean apparently there were some reports found that the piece of shrapnel that was found on that ship, the sunken ship, had markings on it of the type of torpedo that the Israelis actually use.
Well, they said it was the Korean, but it would be quite easy for them to fab up a projectile or a missile or a torpedo and fashion it to replicate a North Korean one. So that would be absolutely easy peasy for them. Maybe if they can send in and fabricate British passports and put Israelis on them and send them into Dubai, then by way of deception, this is the nature of the state of Israel that we have. It is totally anti-God. It is antichrist, and people have to wake up to the fact that it is the abomination which stands where it ought not to stand. And you cannot build Zion with blood and violence. That's what the Bible says, and they're cursed for that.
Where does this leave Egypt? Because we talk a lot about Israel and the activities of Israel that they carry out, but you have the complete and total complicity of the Egyptian government as well.
Well, yes, they are. I mean, but unfortunately, all the Middle East governments are supine. They are just they're useless. They became, as the Prophet warned them, they would become Zabad al-Bahr, like the foam or the scum on the sea, widespread, multitudinous, but absolutely of no value. So that is what the Arab world has become. It has very few. It has no leadership of any quality, unfortunately.
You are listening to Unity FM 93.5, Heart of the City, U-Classified radio show with myself, Saeed Ahmed, and with Dawood Musa Pidcock as well. We are getting closer and closer to the break now. If you want to speak to Dawood or any of us, you can call us on 0121 772 8892. If you want to send a text,
07926 843388. Or if you want to email the show,
you can send an email to studio@unityfm.net as well. We will continue with Brother Dawood after the break as well. We hope to be joined by another guest as well, Mr. Alexander Barron, who is a veteran researcher and who has done a lot of research into Zionism as well. And
hopefully, once we can get the little technical problem sorted out as well, Sir Gerald Kaufman will be joining us on today's show. We will try and bring you Gerald Kaufman, the senior Labour MP, as soon as we can.
Also, at some point in the show, we are hoping to have a member of the Flotilla themselves who will come and speak to us and obviously relate their experiences firsthand of the Israeli attacks and what they experienced when they were there as well. All this is coming up in the show, so please do stay tuned. Inshallah, Dawood will be staying with us as well. Just before we do go to the break, we've got this leaflet here, basically. It's for something happening on Sunday. It's called Remembering the Forgotten. It's a short documentary capturing the daily struggles of the Eritrean refugees in eastern Sudan. It's on the 13th of the 6th, 2010. That's this Sunday. And these are screenings which will take place from 2 p.m, 4:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. The venue is the Birmingham Central Library Theatre. If you want to book or text an email, if you want to book, text or email the text number is 07538310150. That's 07538310150. Or you can send an email to freetickets@etharrelief.org. That's freetickets@etharrelief.org. Got some good speakers who are going to be there as well. You'll have Victoria Britton, who will be at the first screening, along with Mars and Beg, one of our guests on the show who we've spoken to in the past. Screen 2 to 4:30 p.m. will have somebody called Abu Hanifa. I think he's from the Green Lane Masjid. And Abu Osama, also is a scholar from the Green Lane Masjid as well. And on screen 3 at 7 p.m. we'll have Maulana Zahir from As-Sufa Institute in Aston, and Salma Yaqub, the Respect Party councillor as well. Please do join us after the break. We're just going to a few short ads. Myself, Saeed and Dawood will be rejoining us after the break to talk more on the week's events.
Unity FM 92.5.